Welcome back to Good Day State Line. Tim Mahoney is here tonight. We figured it's auto week, so let's talk about auto insurance.
Right. Hey, it's always a great topic, and I know that we, talked about this a little bit before, but
Sure.
It's just something that we see in our office every day, and so I think it's just a great idea to bring it up. People simply just don't have enough auto insurance.
Yeah.
That seems to be the trend. I mean, one of the major money manager people who I won't mention, who says no debt, no debt, no debt, always says lower your auto insurance cost. Well, that's just really not a great idea. Now, let's remember when you have a piece of auto insurance, when you buy an auto insurance policy, you're actually buying several different policies that are kind of all bundled together. So you have collision, which covers your car, which is optional. You don't have to necessarily have that unless you have a loan against the vehicle, in which case your bank is going to require that. Okay. You have liability, which covers if you get in a wreck and it's your fault, that covers the other people. Okay. Then you have what's medical, which is called med pay, which just covers medical expenses if anything happens in relation to the car. It can be basically for almost any reason. That tends to be a lower number. Okay. And then you have uninsured, underinsured, which covers you in the event you get into a wreck and it's not your fault and somebody else injures you. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about two things. We're going to talk about liability and uninsured, underinsured. Liability and uninsured, underinsured will have the same number. So if you have 100,000, 300,000 for liability, you're going to have 100,000, 300,000 for uninsured, underinsured. So when they tell you cut, don't cut, pay less insurance, you're actually insuring yourself less. And you're doing yourself a big disservice. That's like saying don't buy life insurance, don't buy insurance on your house. Okay, bad idea. You should buy all of those things. And so if you have 250, 500, now you've got a lot more insurance on yourself in case somebody runs into you and they don't have insurance, which that's what we see all the time. We see somebody.
You hear about it a lot too in this area. I do hear about plenty of people that get hit and the other person doesn't have insurance. Or they have very minimal insurance, 25,000, 50,000. That's kind of the lowest level that you can have. So like, let's say that you're headed home today and you had 2 kids and all this stuff, and all of a sudden somebody nails you and you end up in an ICU for 40 days and then in rehab for 6 months, and their policy limits are $25,000 and your policy limits are $25,000. Well, how far is $25,000 going to get you? I don't think very far in that pretend scenario.
Not at all. And even if it's just a very typical wreck, you're going home and somebody slides through the stop sign and nails you on the driver's side, and they break your clavicle, and you get a rotator cuff full thickness tear. Happens all the time. We see that injury constantly. Okay, well, that's going to be a surgery on the full thickness tear rotator cuff. You're going to be immobilized because of the clavicle. You're going to have to go through physical therapy and rehab. Okay, well, your entire expenses for that are going to be $40,000. And now if you've got a 25-50 policy, what's going to happen? You're going to be in trouble. That's what's going to happen. So if you buy a 250, 500 policy, now you've got a lot more coverage, but you can also get umbrella policies.
Well, that sounds good.
To cover yourself, So you can get a liability umbrella, so in which case if you injure somebody else, it protects your own assets. But you can also get, and few people know about this, you can get an uninsured, underinsured umbrella policy of at least $1 million that'll go on top of that 250, 500. So now you've got $1.25 to $1.5 million of uninsured, underinsured coverage. So if that same first scenario happens that I talked about, now you're going to be protected.
That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, and the interesting thing is, call your agent. It doesn't cost a lot of money. Once you get to the 250, 500, the 250, 500 can cost you a little bit. That's true. But to add on that umbrella, typically it's only a couple $100s a year, and nobody does it. And sometimes they'll do the liability, but they don't do the uninsured, underinsured. I don't know why agents don't sell it. They don't talk to people about this. If you have assets, if you have a nice job and you have a family, this is a must. This ranks up there with having your house adequately insured, with having health.
Umbrellas are supposed to protect you.
Correct, and they do. Those policies do protect you, and it's something that everybody should take out their deck sheet today, their declaration sheet, which shows their coverage, and take a look at it and call your agent and say, I want full coverage, I want umbrellas to make sure that your family's covered. It's a horrible idea not to have it.
See, look at that. All the tips always from Tim Mahoney. So many different ways you can contact him if you need him to remind you any of the things he just said. And look at that. Now we have that cool QR code. You can just scan the TV.
Can I have it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks.
It'll go right to Mahoney'sGotYourBack.com. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
It's Wednesday, so of course, game day is next. We'll be right back.